I sat at the dining table, flipping through the travel brochure one more time. My fingers traced the picture of the beach. I had imagined walking there with Clara, our hands brushing against each other, maybe even laughing like we used to. "Clara," I said, lifting my eyes when I heard her heels on the floor. "I booked the flights for tomorrow. Early morning. We'll finally get that break we've been talking about." She froze in the doorway. "Tomorrow?" "Yes," I smiled. "Remember, you told me to keep that week clear." I did. My boss nearly killed me, but I managed. She gave a nervous laugh and tugged at her sleeve. "Right, I know, but something came up at work. The timing isn't good." My heart sank a little, but I kept my voice calm. "Something came up. Clara, we've been planning this for 6 months." She walked toward the counter, avoiding my eyes. "I can't just walk away from responsibilities. My team depends on me." I leaned back in my chair, studying her. "So what are you saying? We cancel?" "No," she said quickly, spinning around. "Not cancel. Just postpone. Next month, maybe." "Next month?" My voice cracked before I steadied it. "Clara, I've been waiting for this month. Us. Alone. Away from everything." Her lips tightened, and I said I'm sorry, but I don't control deadlines. I pushed the brochure across the table toward her. "Do you even want this trip? Or are you just looking for an excuse?" She finally looked at me, her eyes sharp. "Why are you making this into an interrogation?" I said next month. "Isn't that enough?" I bit down on my frustration. "It's not about the trip, Clara. It's about us. Every time I try to make space for us, you're somewhere else. Mentally. Emotionally." Her voice rose. "So now I'm guilty for working too hard. Do you even hear yourself?" "I hear myself," I muttered, rubbing my forehead. "Do you hear me? I'm telling you I miss you." She sighed, softer this time, sitting across from me. "Look, I'm tired. Work's been insane. I just need you to understand that." "I do," I whispered. "But I can't shake the feeling you're hiding something. Every time I ask about your schedule, you're vague. Every time I suggest time together, you push it away." Her eyes flickered. "You're imagining things. Am I?" I leaned forward. "Then look me in the eye and tell me you want this trip with me more than anything." I sat on the couch with my phone in hand, scrolling mindlessly through social media. My thumb stopped mid-swipe when I saw it. Clara's name tagged in a photo. She was standing on a balcony, the ocean behind her, the sun painting her skin gold. Her smile was wide, genuine, too genuine. And next to her, Victor. My stomach turned. I tapped the screen with shaking fingers. There it was again in another angle, her glass raised, his arm resting too casually around her chair. "No," my voice cracked. "She said, next month." I dialed Ethan immediately. He picked up on the second ring. "Hey man, what's up?" "I saw it," I whispered. "Saw what?" "A photo. Clara, she's at a resort. With Victor." The line went quiet. Then Ethan cursed. "Send it to me." I did. Seconds later, his sharp inhale filled the line. "Damn, that's not a work trip." I pressed my palm against my chest, trying to breathe. "She lied, Ethan. She looked me in the eye and told me next month." "She didn't delay the trip, brother," Ethan said grimly. "She replaced you." His words hit harder than the photo. "Don't say that." "Look at the picture again. You really think this is business? That's not a colleague's arm around her. That's a man who thinks she's his." I slammed the phone onto the coffee table, my hand trembling. "Why, Ethan? Why would she do this?" "I gave her everything. I trusted her." Ethan's voice softened. "I know, but you need to stop making excuses for her. You've felt it for months. You knew something was off." I wanted to believe her. My throat tightened. Every time she pulled away, I thought it was just stress. I thought if I loved her harder, she'd come back. "You don't fix betrayal with more love," Ethan said. "You confront it." I buried my face in my hands. If I confront her, she'll lie, she'll twist it. And I'll want to believe her all over again. Then don't just confront. Decide. Decide what you deserve. I stared at the glowing screen of my phone, the image still open. Clara laughing in the sun, Victor leaning close. My whole body shook with anger, but beneath it was something worse, hollow despair. "Ethan," I said quietly, "my chest feels like it's caving in. My hands won't stop shaking, because it's betrayal. It rips you from the inside out. But listen to me, you're not crazy. You're not imagining this. It's real. And it's cruel." I laughed bitterly. "She told me she missed me. She told me we'd go next month. And now you know those words meant nothing," Ethan said. "So what are you going to do?" The question lingered. My eyes burned as I whispered, "I don't know. I thought love was supposed to protect me. But maybe it was the weapon all along," Ethan sighed. "You don't have to figure it all out tonight. Just promise me one thing. Don't let her rewrite the truth. You saw it with your own eyes. I nodded, though he couldn't see me. I saw it. I can't unsee it. The photo stayed on my screen long after the call ended. I traced Clara's smile with my finger, the same smile that once lit up my world. Now it cut me like a blade. She wasn't just postponing our trip. She was living the trip with someone else. And in that moment, the truth sank like ice in my veins. She didn't delay me. She erased me. I dialed Clara's number with trembling hands. It rang twice before she answered, her voice cheerful. "Hey, love, everything okay?" My throat tightened. "Where are you?" A pause. Then she chuckled softly. "At a conference dinner." "Why?" I closed my eyes. "A conference dinner with palm trees and oceans behind you." Her tone sharpened. "What are you talking about?" "I saw the pictures, Clara. You're not at a conference. You're at a resort. With Victor." The line went deadly quiet. My heart pounded in my ears. Then she said smoothly, "It's a work trip. Victor's part of the project team." "You're overreacting." I gripped the phone tighter. "Overreacting? I can hear him, Clara, right now." His voice. In the background, faint laughter echoed. A man's voice. Victor's. Called her name. I nearly dropped the phone. "Do you think I'm blind? Do you think I'm stupid?" Her voice softened, almost pitying. "You're imagining things. Don't let jealousy ruin us." "Jealousy," I choked. "You lied to me. You looked me in the eyes and told me next month. And now you're there, with him." "Stop," she snapped. "You're making this uglier than it is." "Then tell me the truth," I demanded. "Look me in the eye, if you can, and say he means nothing." Silence stretched between us. My chest tightened with every second she didn't speak. Finally, she sighed. "I'm tired. We'll talk when I get back. Clara..." But the line went dead. I lowered the phone slowly, my breath ragged. For a moment, I just sat there, staring at the screen. Then I looked across the room. Our wedding photo on the wall, the two of us smiling like the world belonged to us. My voice cracked. Was it all a lie? I walked to the frame, running my fingers over the glass, her white dress, my black suit, the promise in her eyes. I pressed my forehead against it, whispering, "You swore forever." And I believed you. The weight in my chest grew unbearable. My knees buckled and I sank to the floor. Tears spilled freely, blurring the photo into nothing but colors. Inside me, war raged, half of me still clinging to hope, begging for an explanation, the other half screaming the truth. She betrayed me. She chose him. I curled up on the floor, clutching my phone like it was a lifeline. "Clara," I whispered into the empty room. Why wasn't I enough? The silence gave no answer. Only the faint sound of my own sobs filled the space. And in that silence, something inside me cracked, shattering beyond repair. The cafe was nearly empty, just a few night owls nursing coffee. I sat across from Ethan, my hands wrapped tightly around a mug I hadn't touched. He studied me with concern. "You look like hell. I feel worse," I muttered. "Clara?" I nodded. She didn't even try to deny it. She just hung up, like I was an inconvenience. Ethan leaned forward. "And you're still debating whether to stay?" I swallowed hard. "She's my wife. I promised her forever. Maybe I'm supposed to fight for that." He shook his head sharply. "Fight for someone who vacations with another man while you sit at home losing your mind. That's not marriage. That's cruelty." His words stung, but they were true. I stared at the coffee, watching the steam fade. "Listen," Ethan said firmly. "If she can vacation with another man, you can walk away with your dignity. Don't let her break you more than she already has." I pressed my palms to my face. "It feels like if I let go, everything we built, every memory, it all becomes worthless." "No," he said quietly. "It means you stop letting her define your worth. You gave her love. She gave you betrayal. That's the truth." I looked at him, my chest heavy. "So what do I do, Ethan? Just end it after all these years?" "You don't end it," he said. "She did. You just sign the paper that tells the world the truth." His words cut deep, but they also cleared something in my head. I sat in silence for a long time, the hum of the cafe filling the space. Finally, I whispered, "I'm filing for divorce." Ethan didn't flinch. He nodded slowly. "Good. That's the first step toward getting yourself back." The words tasted bitter and freeing at the same time. Divorce. The end. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. "It feels like my heart is bleeding." "Let it bleed," Ethan said softly. "Better to bleed once than die slowly every day." A shaky laugh escaped me. You always did know how to deliver poetic pain. He smiled sadly. I just want my friend back. The man who used to laugh, not this ghost she's turned you into. I exhaled, my hands trembling. Then tomorrow. I'll find a lawyer. Ethan raised his cup. To tomorrow. To freedom. I clinked my untouched mug against his. For the first time that night, I felt the faintest flicker of strength. The cafe lights glowed dim. The world outside silent. Inside me, a storm still raged, but I had made the choice. I would walk away, even if it killed me to do it. Mr. Harris's office smelled faintly of leather and old books. I sat across from him, fingers drumming the polished wood desk, my throat dry. He adjusted his glasses. You're certain you want to proceed? I wouldn't be here if I wasn't, I said, though my voice wavered. He nodded. Then let's begin. I'll draft the petition for divorce. We'll outline terms, assets, and custody if applicable. No children, I interrupted quickly. My chest tightened. Just years. He studied me for a moment. Years can be harder to divide than property. I swallowed hard. She made the choice for me. I'm just finishing it. He slid papers across the desk. Read, sign where marked. This begins the process. My hand hovered over the pen. The sight of the blank signature line looked heavier than iron. Take your time, he said gently. I whispered. She's probably on a beach right now. With him. He didn't respond, just waited. I picked up the pen, my hand trembling. This feels like signing away a lifetime. Sometimes signing away chains is the only way to breathe again, Mr. Harris said. His words steadied me. I pressed the pen to paper and signed my name. The sound of ink scratching felt final, brutal. I pushed the papers back. It's done. He collected them carefully. This is just the start, but you've taken the hardest step. I leaned back in the chair, exhaling shakily. While she's sipping wine, I'm here burying us. Mr. Harris folded the documents neatly. One day you'll see it wasn't a burial. It was a release. I nodded, though my chest still burned. As I stood to leave, I muttered, She doesn't even know. Not yet. You'll tell her when you're ready, he said. I shook his hand, the weight of the decision pressing against me. Ready or not, it's coming. Outside, the city buzzed with life. I walked through it feeling both emptied and strangely lighter. The papers were signed. There was no turning back. The front door clicked open. I looked up from the couch, heart hammering. Clara stepped inside, suitcase in hand, tan glowing from the sun. She smiled like nothing was broken. Miss me? She asked lightly. I forced a nod. Of course. She dropped the suitcase and leaned against the wall. The trip was exhausting. Non-stop meetings, you know. Meetings. I bit my tongue. She flopped onto the couch beside me, her perfume filling the air. You wouldn't believe how much work they crammed into a week. Victor practically ran me ragged. The name hit me like ice. I managed. Victor? She froze for a second, then laughed too quickly. Oh, you know, the team. Victor was just around. Right, I muttered. She stretched her arms. But hey, at least we closed the deal. Big win for the company. I studied her face, every fake smile cutting deeper. You look happy. Sunshine helps, she said brightly. I wanted to scream. Instead, I asked, No chance to call me while you were there? Her eyes flickered. Poor reception. You know how it is. I nodded slowly. Yeah, I know. She leaned closer, brushing my arm. Don't be mad. I thought about you. I almost laughed. My hand brushed the folded papers in my pocket. Did you? Of course, she said softly. This trip was for us, really. For our future. The lie was almost elegant. I forced a smile. Glad to hear it. She kissed my cheek lightly. You always worry too much. Everything's fine. Fine. My pulse roared in my ears. Mia stopped by later that evening, her eyes darting between us. Clara bragged about beach dinners and late-night talks with colleagues. Mia's smile was tight, her silence heavy. I caught her glance. She knew, but she said nothing. Clara laughed, her voice ringing through the room while I sat quietly, fingers brushing the divorce papers hidden in my pocket. She thought she'd fooled me, but the stranger sitting beside me wasn't my wife anymore. Dinner smelled of roasted chicken, but I couldn't taste a thing. Clara sat across from me, her smile bright, her fork clinking softly against her plate. You're awfully quiet tonight, she said, tilting her head. I looked at her, my pulse steady but heavy. There's something I need to show you, her brow furrowed. What is it? I reached into my pocket and slid the manila folder across the table. The papers landed between us like a stone. She blinked. What's this? Divorce papers. The color drained from her face. You're joking. I'm not. Her hands trembled as she opened the folder. This is insane. Why would you do this? I kept my eyes on hers. Because I know, she stared, frozen. Know what? About the trip. About Victor. About how you replaced me. Her lips parted, but no sound came. Then fury replaced shock. You're overreacting. It was business. Don't, I cut in sharply. I heard his voice. I saw the photos. Business doesn't look like that. She slammed her fist on the table. So you've been spying on me? No, you were careless. And I finally stopped pretending not to see. Her voice cracked. You're just jealous, paranoid. We can fix this. I leaned forward, my tone calm but cold. I'm done fixing what you keep breaking. Tears welled in her eyes. You can't just throw away our marriage. You already did, I whispered. She shook her head violently. No, you're just hurt. You'll forgive me like you always do. I pushed the papers closer. Not this time. Silence stretched between us. Her mask wavered, panic flickering through. Victor means nothing, she pleaded. I love you. If you loved me, you wouldn't have lied. You wouldn't have left me behind. Her breath hitched. So that's it? You're just walking away? I nodded slowly. Yes. She covered her face with her hands, shoulders shaking. For years I'd comforted her. Tonight I didn't move. I can't believe you, she whispered. After everything. No, I said firmly. I can't believe you. The air between us thickened, her sobs filling the silence. For the first time in months, I felt strangely steady. I had slid the papers across the table, and with them, the truth. There was no going back. The next morning, Clara cornered me in the kitchen, her eyes swollen from crying. You don't mean this, she said desperately, holding up the papers. You can't mean it, I sipped my coffee. I do, she grabbed my arm. Please, Victor, he doesn't matter. It was a mistake, that's all. I pulled free. A mistake that lasted weeks? That kind of mistake has intent, her voice cracked. I was lonely. You were distant. Don't twist this, I snapped. You chose him. Her tears spilled faster. I chose wrong, but you're my husband. I can fix it, I laughed bitterly. Fix it? By lying again? By pretending nothing happened? She sobbed harder. I'll end it with him. Today. Just give me one more chance. Before I could reply, the doorbell rang. Clara froze. Ethan stepped inside, eyes sharp. You okay? He asked me. I nodded slightly. I will be. Clara glared at him. You told him to do this, didn't you? Ethan crossed his arms. He didn't need me to see the truth. You did that all by yourself. She turned back to me, voice trembling. Don't let him poison you against me. I shook my head. He's the only one who's been honest. Her face twisted in panic. Please, Victor means nothing. A new voice cut through the air. Funny, that's not what you said last week. Victor stood at the doorway, arms folded, eyes cold. Clara's breath caught. Victor, she whispered. He smirked. You didn't tell him I was part of the business deal. Guess not. Her face crumbled. Why are you here? To tell you I'm done. You're toxic, Clara. You use people until they're empty. Her knees buckled. No, you can't leave me. He scoffed and walked out without another glance. Clara collapsed to the floor, clutching the papers. You're all I have left, she cried. Please, don't leave me too. I looked down at her, my chest heavy but firm. You left me first. Her sobs echoed through the house. Ethan placed a steady hand on my shoulder. You're free now, he whispered. I exhaled, watching Clara break apart. She never expected this ending, never believed I'd walk away. But I was already gone. Her lips parted, but no words came out. She looked down, fiddling with the strap of her watch. The silence between us pressed like a weight. Next month, she finally said. I promise. We'll go next month. I forced a smile, though my chest ached. All right, next month. She stood, brushing her hair back. Good. I'm glad you understand. Yeah, I muttered under my breath. I understand perfectly. She left the room, her perfume lingering. I sat there staring at the brochure, the smiling couples and glossy pictures mocking me. I thought about the vows we'd made years ago, how she once swore I was her safe place. But tonight, when I looked into her eyes, all I saw was distance. Maybe I was overthinking. Maybe she really was just busy. But the way she avoided my gaze, the way her voice trembled, it didn't feel like stress. It felt like secrets. I ran my hands through my hair, whispering to myself, what if she's lying to me? Chapter 9. The Freedom. I didn't expect the courthouse was colder than I imagined. Papers shuffled, pens scratched, and with a single signature, It was done. Clara was silent beside her lawyer, her eyes red but dry. When the judge confirmed it, she shot me a look that begged for something. Anger, pity, forgiveness. I gave her nothing. Outside, Ethan waited. It's official? Yeah, I said softly. It's over. He clapped my back. Good. You can finally breathe again. I inhaled deeply, the air sharp but clean. It feels strange, like I'm missing a limb, but lighter at the same time. That's freedom, he said with a small smile. That evening, I packed away the last reminders. Our wedding photo sat on the dresser, mocking me. I picked it up, stared at the smiles we once wore, then slid it into a box. My hands shook, but my chest felt steadier. You don't belong on my wall anymore, I whispered. The door creaked. Sarah, my colleague, stood in the hallway with a small casserole dish. I heard, today was the final hearing. I nodded. Yeah, just signed the end of my marriage. Her eyes softened. I didn't know if you'd want company, but I figured food never hurts. I managed a weak smile. You're right. Come in. We sat in the living room. She placed the dish on the table. It's not fancy. Just lasagna. Better than anything I could cook tonight, I admitted. For a moment, silence lingered. Then she asked gently, do you regret it? I leaned back. No, I regret what she did, but not walking away. Staying would have killed me piece by piece. Sarah nodded. You look tired, but lighter, I chuckled softly. That's what Ethan said too. She tilted her head. Maybe they're both right. I studied her face, kind, patient, nothing like the constant storms I'd endured. Something in me eased. Thank you, Sarah, I said quietly, for showing up. Any time, she replied with a small smile. Later, when she left, I stood alone in the quiet house. It wasn't empty. It was mine again. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. Months passed. The seasons turned and the scars inside me slowly closed. One evening, as I walked home from work, I saw her waiting by my car, Clara. Her hair was unkempt, her clothes wrinkled. She looked nothing like the woman who once glowed with confidence. Can we talk? She asked, voice fragile. I hesitated, then nodded. 5 minutes, she swallowed hard. I'm sorry, for everything. I was blind, selfish, stupid. I thought Victor cared, but he disappeared the moment things got hard. I stayed silent. Tears slid down her face. I lost everything. Friends whisper about me. My own family barely calls. And you're the only one I ever truly loved. The words should have broken me months ago. Now they sounded hollow. You loved me, I asked softly. When you lied to me, left me behind? Her voice cracked. I didn't realize what I had until I destroyed it. I sighed, my chest heavy but calm. You didn't just destroy us, Clara. You destroyed yourself, and I can't fix that for you. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. I don't want forgiveness, she whispered. Just a chance to see you again sometimes, please. I shook my head. No, I've healed too much to reopen the wound. Her knees buckled, and she leaned against the car. So that's it? You'll never come back? I already left, I said quietly. That day I slid the papers across the table. Her tears fell harder, but my heart stayed still. I turned and walked away, her sobs echoing in the distance. Each step felt lighter. Later that night, I stood at the pier where we once planned our vacation. The waves whispered against the wood, cool air brushing my face. She delayed the trip. I murmured, but I moved on forever. For the first time in years, peace washed over me.